Welcome back to the MVP show. Swice here. Mons is in New Jersey. He told me he had a couple drinks already today, so won't be with us. But we have two very special guests. Hudson returning back to the show, strong member of the MVP team. Been going live almost every day. Hudson, how we feeling today?
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. How about you?
I'm doing good. Oh, Eric, can we get that timer up so I don't lose track here? Thanks, brother. There we go. And then we also have a very special guest. We have Ryan, my guy from Dallas here. Ryan, how we doing? First time into the show.
Great, Swice. Doing well. Locked in on some NHL picks tonight, ready to get it fired up.
All righty. Good to have you on and those freshly painted walls in your place there. As we were talking about when I was in Dallas last time.
Yeah, we
Uh,
do.
we will be Ryan. I didn't even tell you yet. We got World Cup tickets. We're going to see England Croatia in Dallas. So I don't even think I told Hudson that yesterday. $1,500 later, but we're going. So
Love it. We'll finish up the place just in time for you to come crash.
we already got Airbnb for 2 weeks. You guys should rent it out though and make some money off of that. But Ryan, the first half of the show we'll focus on you. Hudson, I know can talk, you know, hockey and baseball a lot more than me. But let's start, Ryan. What's your betting background experience, and where are you currently posting your plays and branding yourself? I know you've sent me a bunch of screenshots, kind of your betting summaries there, but tell the audience who you are, and I know they know you live in Dallas, but that's about it so far.
Yeah, thanks. So we've been running with a pod, just me. It's been the Ringer Rundown for about a year. And that was really born out of locks in the NHL. We had a hot streak in the NHL, just me personally, last year, where I was going, 5-0 every single day. I could not keep it to myself. I was telling anyone who would listen. And that's how the pod got started. Our specialty is hockey, our specialty is deep plus money plays, and we're dropping about 5 plays a day. We're sending them out on Twitter and then all your podcast platforms under the Ringer Rundown. So you can look us up on Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere where you get your pods. We're dropping mostly NHL, MLB, NFL. We dabble in college a little bit, but it's mostly NHL is really where we make our money. So right now is like our, crunch time. We're cashing in. We're mostly dropping like money lines, totals, pretty simple stuff. Sides. We'll call out parlay pieces, things like that. During the NFL season, we'll drop a weekly kind of level set or a recap so that you can get your picks in on Tuesday nights. We're big believers in timing over on our pod, and we're big believers in price discipline. So the only rule we keep is we don't bet lines deeper than minus 130. And after that, everything else is fair game. We try to look for the big plus money, big value plays. Been at it for about a year. We're now starting to get a little bit more sophisticated. We've been dropping pods, since that time, but we're really bolstering our handicapping. So we're building out tools, we're building out dashboards, and we're slinging picks, baby. I'm happy to be on the show, ready to get rolling. Baseball season obviously is huge for us, and we're going to be one of the only guys dropping picks every single day throughout the entire baseball season. Like I said, hockey's our jam. We like a little UFL action in there. That's a Dallas-based thing. They're headquartered out of Arlington, where the Texas Rangers play, and they actually practice out of all the high schools around Dallas. So we're locked there too. um, yeah, no, I'm just happy to be here, baby, and we'll be slinging picks till the cows come home.
Love to hear the background there, Ryan. So I guess let's start with the hockey. You said mostly plus money plays. You won't really take anything, or you won't take anything over minus 130. So what type of plus money plays are you talking here for hockey specifically?
Yeah, so a good example is last night's Flyers Canes game. There's one game on the board, right? How are you going to find value in one single game? The over under is where everyone's been looking through the beginning of the playoffs so far, especially in the Eastern Conference. It's been the unders. The unders have been cashing at an unbelievable clip on the East Coast. Well, last night, the under 5.5 5.5 is about as low as it's going to go in hockey. The under 5.5 was sitting at a minus 145. You're not going to get any value in the under 5.5 minus 145. What if there's an empty netter? So we took the Canes minus the 1.5 plus 160. That ends up cashing for us, and we'll take that. If you take the under 5.5 and it hits for you, it's a little too heavy for us. Tonight, we got the Ducks on the money line minus 110. That's pretty light. And then we've got the over in what's the other game? Who we got here?
Hudson should know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come on,
Canadians,
Hudson.
Sabres.
There you.
Canadian Sabres. Yes. So we got the over 5.5, and that's sitting at a plus 100 even money. We're trying to cash out. We're trying to eliminate the VIG. Our big thesis is you got to overcome the VIG, and then you got to cash in.
Love it. Hudson, how does your hockey strategy differ or align with what kind of Ryan is saying there? I know you've been doing probably 90% of the hockey plays we've been posting as a company. So how would you align and also differ from what Ryan is doing?
Yeah, I kind of agree with him with the plus money. I kind of like the whole idea of trying to get that with hockey and baseball. That's kind of my strategy there. And I think goalies and pitchers are very equal in terms of determining the over under and who should win and who should lose more often than not. So I think we have kind of a similar strategy there. I will say I do like the Canadians tonight. Was trying to post them earlier, but Discord's been messing around today, so I couldn't post it yet.
Yeah, Discord was all screwed up today. But kind of going off of, hockey's playoffs have been great. NBA's been good as well. Baseball, I know you just briefly mentioned that, but going back to Ryan here, what is your, I guess, edges or baseball experience that you have, and what would you say is probably a good betting tip for someone who's starting out in baseball? They stop betting football because the season ends, and now NBA and NHL playoffs are winding down, so they want to get some baseball action in. Like, what do you recommend? And then I'll toss it back to Hudson about a little bit about his baseball strategy and what's been working so far, and what you guys are looking forward to the rest of this baseball season.
Yeah, so my baseball strat, every time I'm capping baseball, I start with how long we think the starting pitcher is going to go. I think there's a lot of people talking about ERA, whip. They dig into the stats, but I think they forget to pay attention to how long he's going to be in the game. So if you got a guy who's got great stats, but he gets yanked after 4, that's not going to really work. We need a guy who's going to go length if we think he's going to really hold down the other team's offense. So we try to look at games where the pitcher is going to get pulled early. So maybe a guy who's only going 4.5. That's where we're looking at overs. That's where we're looking at the opposing team to really run it up. Same situation. We're looking at money line dogs or run line favorites. We'll take slight favorites here and there, but we try not to lay more than minus 130. So we really, really like to focus on teams that have hot bats, teams that have what we're calling a contiguous hitting lineup. So we want their 7 guy to be getting on base. We want their 8 guy to be getting on base. We can't have a top heavy hitting lineup. And then while we like a lot of power in our lineups, it's that is where we think the volatility comes in. So we want teams like the Brewers of last year, where every single guy's getting on base, hitting singles, doubles. That's how you get 8, 9 runs in a game. The Phillies, conversely, this year, they hit the ball out of the park every time they make contact. That's just like 1 out of every 15 at bats. And that's not going to work for us reliably in our model. So we're looking for teams that play team baseball, that get around the bases, good base running, pretty much the entire NL Central right now. And that is where we think all the offense comes from. We try to focus on those games. We try to focus on the value. And then one more baseball thing we like to do: anytime I see a favorite of $2 or more, that makes me stop even for just a second, just as I'm ripping through the lines. If I have to take a second look at it, I'll drop a unit on it, because more times than not, that will hit. You don't have to hit it more than what, a third to break even on that long term, that's usually teams like the Marlins, the White Sox, teams that, are favorite punching bags on the street. Those are teams we like to tag for sure.
Hudson, how does your strategy align and differ from Ryan's? I know we've been tossing out a lot of baseball plays here recently.
Yeah, I think we have some similarities. I've kind of gotten down to like a little bit of the science, and I think as the season goes on, it gets easier to read it. So what I like to do is I love seeing how long a pitcher's going to go. So when I look at a pitcher pitching, let's say he's a righty, and let's just say he's facing a team with a bunch of lefties in the lineup. I don't care what the stats say. Lefties against a righty pitcher is favorites to the hitter. So the righty could be Logan Webb in San Francisco, where he's absolutely money, and the other team could be the Reds because they have a ton of lefties in the lineup, and or righties in the lineup, or no lefties in the lineup, and they're going against Webb at home. I don't even care if they get up 3 runs just by running the bases. Like one, Webb's going to be over favored because Webb at home, it's a market price, huge favorite. And then two, Reds are, they're a better team, but they are in that punching bag category. Athletics are in that punching bag category too, which have been cashing like crazy. So I kind of think we're kind of similar in seeing how long pitchers go. Bullpen fatigue is absolutely huge. Last night, Phillies were playing. They haven't had a day off since April 29th. Andrew Painter was on the mound. He got absolutely rocked by the Athletics. Again, a punching bag team in the Athletics. They have hot bats. Kind of goes into the same system that he's looking at right there. I think something I don't know if he does this too, but something I like to do is I look at weather, ballpark factor, and again, hitting splits against the pitcher they're facing. So let's say they're crushing lefties and they're going against a righty and they don't hit righties well. Well, then I'm probably going to stay away from that. I don't care what the value is. I don't care if I'm getting plus 150 or not. There's a reason they're like that. So I think we have a pretty similar strategy, I guess, with baseball and hockey. Maybe do a couple things differently because I don't think every capper is the same. But I do like the approach Ryan has too, compared to what I'm using as well.
Yeah, I mean, you both are putting in the trenches and time with those. I'm more of the football guy with the one time a week and just deep diving into that one game. But been getting some good bets in on the NBA recently, so that's been good. Um, Ryan, I did want to dive into the NFL draft post reaction a little bit, but first, I did want to hear about how are you. What edges are you finding in UFL? I know some sharp and syndicate groups that have been cashing on UFL, but what specific edges have you found for the UFL that you can share? I guess.
Hey, you got it. So the UFL has got a lot of weird rule nuances that people will tell you about, but the simple fact is it's an undercovered league. Nobody actually follows the roster moves. Nobody follows the progression of the teams that do get better over the year. There's a lot more players going from the UFL to the NFL. Brandon Aubrey was the first and most obvious. There's a lot more following in his footsteps. And the UFL is really, if nothing else, a player pipeline. So we try to follow those. We watch it closer than the market, and that is how it's done. So the UFL has a huge defensive advantage. There's very little time for a quarterback to build rapport with his receivers, with his running backs. So it's a very individual style game. You're not going to see guys piece together a 12 play, 90-yard drive. It just isn't going to happen. So you've got to watch out for the star factor, the all-star players, and then guys who blow the lid off on the outside. Defensive players that can hit and can stop the run. That is absolutely the end of the line for the other team. So for tonight, we've got one UFL game, and it's the Columbus Aviators against the St. Louis Battlehawks. Uh, the St. Louis Battlehawks are supposed to be one of the big incumbents in the league, and the Columbus Aviators have a nasty defense and an offense that still is kind of coming around. They're 6-point dogs on the road in St. Louis, and we like them on the money line plus 200. Keep an eye on it. It's a game by game, week by week thing. You got to watch 60 minutes of UFL football to get this edge, which is brutal. It's not for everybody, but we think it's going to come home and pay today, plus 200.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, I need a break from football, I feel like, but you're edging me on with these, uh, talking about UFL right now and the value you can get in it. Obviously, a sport like that isn't going to be as covered as the NFL or college football, so there's definitely betting edges you can have there, right? Um, Going back to the NFL draft, I know Hudson, we talked about it, but you weren't a huge guy into it. I know Ryan's a big football guy, so I guess the biggest thoughts, and I talked about this last week, not steal of the draft, but I think best fit and best overall talent. And he dropped because he's, of the position he plays. But Ryan, thoughts on the impact Caleb Downs is going to make as a rookie for the
I
Cowboys?
knew that's where you were going.
Of
I love
course.
it. Yes. We needed someone to seal up that top end of the defense. You remember last year, I think it was the Giants in like week 3, the game ends like 41-44. They're just blowing the
Almost
lid
lost
off.
Survivor on that one. So, yes, I remember that game vividly.
Oh, painful game. Yeah, but we're blowing the lid off back and forth. We're dead last in the league the last 2 years in yards allowed. We can't have that. We need someone who knows ball because we used to have, a defense that was kind of run from the middle. We had, who was it? Sean Lee. He got hurt, and we need someone to kind of call the shots and someone to seal up our back end. I don't think we've ever really had that true star one-on-one corner. Trevon Diggs had that one ball hawking year. I think it was 2022 when he led the league in interceptions. But Caleb Downs, just to even kind of play that type of a position for us, the first year that he's in there makes all the world of difference. We got Quinnen Williams up front. We got a whole bunch of assets.
What about
Right up
Christian
front.
Parker, though, Ryan? What's your thoughts on him? 34 coming in there?
Dude, I honestly think we could be good. Like, we don't even need them to like save us. We don't need to be a top 10 defense. We just need to be like, not in the 20s. Like, if we can get to the teens, we might go to the Super Bowl. This is Dak
Wow.
Prescott's the end of his window. We're gonna burn the boats, baby. And Caleb Downs absolutely gives us a chance to do that. We lucked out. Not gonna lie, I'm surprised he was on the board.
Yeah, that was. I've been hearing great things about your defensive coordinator. So I mean, when the Cowboys are good, it's good for the league. I think they're gonna have a great year overall. So I'm excited for that. Anything else from the draft, Ryan, that you noticed? I mean, it was not a flashy draft like next year's with the quarterbacks, but again, this year we thought Klubnik and some of the Nussmeier were going to be, top of the class, and that didn't happen. I thought the biggest reach, and I think Hudson, we talked about this last week, was Carnell Tate going number 4. You're telling me he's the same talent level as Marvin Harrison? If he's going 4, that means Jeremiah Smith is worst case going number 2 next year. I don't care if Arch Manning or Dante Moore are coming out. But Ryan, what are your thoughts on the Titans taking Tate at number 4, which I thought was a massive reach by them?
I think the Titans got enough problems that, jumping up for talent like that just isn't going to help. I mean, I'm an Ole Miss guy, and there's a ton of Titans fans in my phone book, and they're kind of all complaining. I mean, you got to have someone for Cam Ward to throw the ball to, but geez, I mean, there were a lot of other places you could have gone with it. That said, having 2 young guys you could build the offense around could really help. I mean, what about the Vikings? What, like 3 years ago when Darnold came in, you had Jettas. You finally had, like, you didn't know yet that the roster was going to fill out. There's room for the Titans to really build something there, but man, they're going to have to do a lot of work. That GM's going to have to be busy. He's going to be making a lot of phone calls. They need a defensive line. They need a secondary. They need an offensive line. Maybe a running back wouldn't hurt, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he knows something that we don't. But this was a weak draft. I think reaching, what are you missing out on?
I don't know. I mean, I
Like,
think Kansas City
mad.
trading up for Delane is going to be a great pick for them. That was a huge need for them. I don't like that Jordan Tyson went number 8. I think that was a somewhat of a reach. I think the teens, like the Ravens getting that guard from Penn State, obviously Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles going 7, Ruben Bain going 15, Sadiq going right after him. Like, this draft was not as top heavy, but Yeah, I mean next year's draft's gonna be sick. So I mean, I think the Chiefs getting Delane was huge, and it looks like Mahomes is coming back earlier than expected there. Um, a lot of picks for your division rival there, Ryan. The Giants taking Reese and the kid Francis. I can't even pronounce his last name. Mauioo, whatever his name is, from Miami. Any concerns with that, or the Eagles taking what's his name, the receiver, Mekhi Lemon, or the Commanders taking Sonny Styles? Any concerns with any of those teams in your division from the draft, or not really?
I think the Eagles probably had one of the best drafts in the league, and that makes me real nervous. I don't want to see any part of that. I think they touched on all the big important pieces. I think they got a guard from Georgia. They picked up a wide receiver in Lemon. They picked up a quarterback. I'm trying to remember who, but they really filled in a lot of their needs. And with the Giants, honestly, I'm glad to see Dexter Lawrence get out of this division. Send him to the AFC North. That's where he belongs. It's a pass rushers league. I don't want to see him on laying on Dak Prescott ever at his tender old age of like 33. So I'm happy the way it turned out with the Giants. The Eagles scare me. It seems like their front office is fired up and they're paying just as close of attention as we are. Uh, I would have liked to have seen them kind of blow it, but it looks like they pieced together a really nice draft, and we don't like seeing that.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at your Ole Miss wide receiver getting drafted by the Niners here.
Yeah, Stribling,
Deshaun.
dude.
I can't even pronounce his first name.
Yeah, Stribling, dude. Okay, so they kept saying he doesn't screen well. That guy blows the lid off. I don't care what anyone says. He's fast. He can catch.
So
His
he's gonna
tape.
work with Shanahan in that system. You're saying?
Oh yeah, and I don't want to. Yeah, I'm not a Niners fan, and I've got enough Niners fans in my periphery telling me about how he's going to score 12 touchdowns next year, and he really can. He can do it any different way. That's a guy you send out in a jet sweep. You can blow the lid off with him. You can throw one of those little banana splits with him. I mean, this guy, yeah, they can get him the ball any different kind of way. They saw the Lane Kiffin tape, and yeah, Shanahan's got him a tool right there.
Awesome. I know.
I've got to add in one thing. I
Oh,
think the
here he
Niners.
goes with the football. Let's see. He's gonna add it.
I think the Niners are going to be dangerous this year, dude. Dangerous. That defense is going to be healthy. Their Stripling guy they just drafted. My gosh, they're going to be. They're going to be. I would put a future on them, but I got to see the schedule first. With that being said,
Yep. Yep. An all-purpose Swiss Army knife is the last thing we needed to throw to Shanahan, and he's got one in Stribling for sure.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for the NFL talk there. Um, I guess it's coming down the pipeline there. You mentioned not being a huge college guy, Ryan, but what are your I mean, we got the schedule being released next week. I'm pumped to figure out. I'm doing a stadium tour, so I've been to 16 out of the 30. Got 14 to go. Trying to hit everybody before I get to 35. I've been to Dallas, but I'm going to a game this year for sure, since I'll be down there for like 6 weeks to start the season. So excited to be around real football fans. But what tricks do you got, or tips? I guess top three maybe for new bettors, and maybe 1 to 2 for more experienced bettors. What are your tips with NFL quickly approaching and with the schedule coming out? Over under win totals will be available. Division winners, all that shit.
Yeah, so college tips I got. We're talking college tips, right?
No, I was saying the pros because you said you were more into that.
Well, yeah, okay. NFL picks. The biggest thing with the NFL is that you cannot be afraid of the underdog spread. So most guys, when they start out, they'll look at a game and say, "Oh, this team should win," and they're favored by 3.5. Let me go ahead and lay it. It could pan out my way. You cannot be scared of the hook, and you cannot be scared to take the points. NFL spreads, in my opinion, I look at each point as highly, highly valuable. So a 7-point game, you need to think that they're going to win by 14. There's a lot of garbage time covers in the NFL because these guys are playing the long game, really. Um, you're not really capping the offense, you're capping the defense's affinity to give up the points. So more than anything, I think I look at underdogs money line underdogs, and favorites I'm real careful with. So for me to really like a favorite, it's got to be -1.5 or something like that. I will take favorites for sure, but then it almost always ends up being like a -6.5 type situation. And that's when you're beating them to the punch. So that's why I drop a Tuesday night preview episode every week for the NFL so that my listeners can tune in and find out, hey, here's where the value's at. So Wednesday morning, they're tagging that 6.5 line before it gets out to 7 on Saturday.
Gotcha. No, I love it. I'm getting excited for NFL. Just thinking about. I mean, I just saw the schedule releases get a drop next Thursday, so I'm excited about that. I think for me, with the NFL, I mean, the audience knows kind of my bread and butter, but I got the interns kind of looking up niche markets and things like underdog money line with the under parlayed profitability, shit like that. For college football, the main thing that I'll do, Ryan, is really focus on a lot of totals there, especially in some of those like smaller college games. Not smaller college, but not like the Big Five, the Power Five conferences. So that's interesting there. Only got a few more minutes left, Ryan, but would love to hear. Maybe it's a recent one, maybe it's one from a while ago. But what's the craziest bet you've ever hit or missed on by like one leg or by like a crazy ending? Not really. It doesn't have to be a parlay. It could be a bet you like lost on, and you're still pissed about it to this day.
Yo, honestly, I was so glad when I saw this coming. This was last Sunday. This is a sicko only type of line. I was watching the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche game one of the second round Sunday night. This game kicks off, I think, at like 8:30 or 9 p.m. Central. So, and it's a gem. It's 5-5 in between the second and the third period. And I'm scrolling through live lines as one does. And I see the alternate over 14 and a half plus 787. We're 2 periods into this thing, 10 goals, 5 goals a period. And so me, numbers guy, goes, hey, maybe there's 5 goals in the third period. If it does, I'm nearly getting 8-1. Let me sprinkle a pizza on it. Boom. Smashed it. And that thing cashed, baby. The the Avs went off, scored 4 goals. The Wild
Yep.
cashed one. And we end up at 15 goals plus 787. I'm doing backflips in my living room at like 12:30 in the morning on Sunday night. Biggest sicko bet of all time. I don't even care. I've been waiting for a chance to brag about it. Thank you for bringing this up. That's the best bet I've ever hit.
Hell yeah, love it. That was great storytelling of it. Hudson, did you have any bets on that game, or did you watch that game?
I watched that game. That was insane, man. 9-5? Was that the highest scoring?
9-6, bro.
Oh, 9-6. That's right. Wild did
Yeah.
score one. Was that the highest scoring playoff game ever?
Oh, by a lot. By a lot. I mean, because I've been riding East Coast unders the entire playoffs. And this is the one game where I smack an over, and boy, did it cash. Oh, it felt so good.
I bet that pizza was tasting nice.
Yeah, I could have got pizza for the whole neighborhood, baby. That felt great.
Oh boy.
And still have money left over.
You damn right. You damn right.
Oh, I love it. So Ryan, going back to your podcast and the team and stuff, or that you have. So is it just you posting the plays, or you have a team with you, or how does that look? You might have said it earlier, but just to refresh as you are logging off here, just to refresh everybody's memories.
No. Check me out at Ringer Rundown. I grind these picks every day. So I hop in the lab every night and I cap the slate. I build out a list of usually 8 to 10 picks. I whittle it down to 5 and drop the plays first thing in the morning, usually about 7:30 Central Time. So about 8:30 your time out on the East Coast. It's just me still working on trying to build this thing out, trying to make it as fulsome as it can possibly be. We're dropping straight totals, money lines, spreads every single day. Been doing it for about a year. We're going to keep going. It's launching, it's growing. Check us out on Twitter. We're going to try and figure out the Instagram thing, maybe a little old, but we're figuring it out. Then we got all the podcast platforms. So you got Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen to your pods. Check us out at the Ringer Rundown.
Ryan, it's been a pleasure, brother. Thanks for coming on the show. Glad we could make this happen. And we're here at Make Vegas Pay as a resource for you as you look to grow. We'll talk offline about that kind of stuff. So good having you on, man. Excited to be back in Dallas on June 4th to the 18th. So I'll be there for 2 weeks. So I'm sure we'll kick it and watch some Stanley Cup and NBA and just MLB and World Cup. So a lot of sports. It's nonstop this year. So good having you on, brother. Thank you so much.